Good afternoon to everyone. Another wonderful day. We can get together on the Sabbath and rest from our works and all the things going on in this world. So it's nice to be here and to see everybody. Well, brethren, I'm sure all of us at various times, even more so in these days we live than before, we kind of wonder in our minds what the future holds. I mean, it's in times past, even before I got deeply into the scriptures, I used to wonder what's going to happen to our nation and to this world. Where are we going? Because I was quite familiar with World War II and how that all got started, and a little bit on World War I and then Vietnam, a little bit on Korea, and I'm thinking to myself, are we going to constantly war against one another, nation to nation, and so on and so forth? In any event, brethren, our Father in heaven has plans for us on this earth. He has plans for the future of planet Earth. And that's my title today, The Future of Planet Earth. Now, through the prophets, brethren, at various times, they revealed a lot of specific things that are going to happen on this earth for mankind, and to get it ready for the second coming of our Messiah, which he is coming back soon, I hope. And these prophets tell us in the scriptures how things are going to change and what's going to happen. So that's a wonderful thing. And so what I want to do today, brethren, is bring you 8 ways that the Holy Scriptures is going to tell us and is telling us how things are going to change on this earth and where we're going as a civilization. Here's the first item, and this is very, very important, because the more I watch TV, not television per se, but there are news reports and things on the internet mainly about these terrible weapons of destruction that companies here in the United States and, of course, Russia and China, they're trying to keep up with us and maybe surpass us in some items, are building these here very, what I would call deadly, accurate weapons of killing other human beings. I find it rather disturbing when I see it, read about it, and the way they describe it. They'll say such things as, no other country is going to war against the United States or Israel because of this weapon or that weapon, and so on and so forth. And I saw an interesting program just the other day about how they're taking these here fighter bombers that we manufacture in this country, and they're putting together sophisticated rockets and bombs on these things. They're laser guided and so on. Of course, there have been laser guided missiles and that around, but now they're even more deadly. Some of them may even carry, say, a 1 megaton warhead on it, which is really, when you see something like that explode, you know, it's history for anybody in that area. And I thought it was rather unnerving to see what they call an atomic cannon. They actually had a film on it, way out in the desert somewhere. I'm not sure it was even in the United States. It may have been overseas. Maybe they bargained with another country to shoot this nuclear warhead out of a cannon. And they showed you, it must have been 20 people at this cannon loading this thing. And they fired it off, and maybe close to 30 miles away, that thing blew up right on the base of a mountain range. It's pretty scary stuff when you really think about it and you know about it. But what we're going to have, brethren, is a world of unparalleled peace on this earth, because all of that's going to be done away with. What I'd like you to do is open your books to the book of Micah. We'll start with Micah, prophet in the early Testament. I'm going to read to you verse 3 and 4. And this is how it's going to be done, whether mankind or the leaders at that time period like it or not. Our Father in heaven, through his Son, is going to straighten things out, and things are going to be done his way. So here it is. Here's what Micah says, starting in verse 3, Micah 4. He will judge between many peoples and will settle disputes for strong nations far and wide. They will beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war any more. Every man will sit under his own vine and under his own fig tree, and no one will make them afraid. For the eternal God Almighty has spoken. He has spoken, brethren, and this is a prophecy that was made a long time ago, but it's going to come about, and I'm going to say in the future, possibly even my lifetime. It would be a wonderful thing to see, an end to war. Isaiah 11, verse 9. Let's look at that for a moment. Book of Isaiah 11, verse 9. They will neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the eternal God as the waters cover the sea. That's going to be a day, brethren, when people are going to have right knowledge and they'll know what to do that's right, not to take up arms against someone else or nation against nation. That's going to be done away with. Isaiah 11, verse 9. The second item I'm going to bring up is that nations will learn God's way. They're going to learn it. I have a feeling that there's going to be some people in some countries that are going to learn the hard way, but nonetheless they're going to learn one way or another. Let's look at Micah 4 again. Let's go to Micah. Micah has a lot of statements in here about what's happening and going on. So we look in the book of Micah, chapter 4 and verse 2. Many nations will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the eternal God, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways, so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion, the word of the eternal God from Jerusalem." That tells us a lot, brethren. There's the world rulership that's coming on this earth. It's going to be coming from Jerusalem, and our Messiah is going to be there to administer his laws in his way. And people are going to learn, finally, are going to learn his way. Number 3, the world of agricultural abundance. Now, everybody in here, I'm pretty sure, has had a garden, right? I mean, you like to grow. You have not? Okay. I see somebody shaking their head no, but in any event, if you plan to put tomatoes, cantaloupes, or anything, during that time period, brethren, there's going to be agricultural abundance. The soil is going to yield its fruit. It's going to be so abundant and so wonderful. You grow cantaloupes or corn, you have to step aside because your garden is going to be overflowing with these things. That's the way our Father in heaven is going to have it. He is going to fill this earth with abundance for everyone. Starvation is going to be gone. Not going to be any more starving people. We will have agricultural abundance. Let's look at the book of Amos. In the book of Amos, I'm going to look at chapter 9, okay? Amos chapter 9. I'm going to read you verse 13 and 14. The days are coming, declares the eternal God, when the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman, and the planter by the one treading grapes. New wine will drip from the mountains and flow from all the hills. I will bring back my exiled people, Israel. They will rebuild the ruined cities, and they will plant vineyards and drink their wine. And they will make gardens and eat their fruit. Wow, what a wonderful time that's going to be. That is a prophetic statement, brethren. As I said earlier, it's going to be agricultural abundance. But in any event, Israel, God's people, and anyone else who accepts our Messiah, they're going to be blessed beyond their wildest dreams, and it's going to come about. Yes, that day's coming, brethren, when, as it states here, the reaper will be overtaken by the plowman. So things are going to grow pretty rapidly, bug-free. You're not going to have to go out and spray your gardens anymore and have all that toxicity floating around in the air and on your food. That's going to be gone because that's all going to be taken care of by our Creator. He's going to make sure that doesn't happen. Let's look at number 4. Wastelands transformed. Wastelands. All of us in here, I'm sure, brethren, have seen, heard, know about pollution of this earth, the wastelands, rivers and streams. I know of an incident, brethren, out in Detroit, Michigan. There was a river named the Detroit River. And not too long ago, families could take, in the summer, could take their children and their friends out and have a picnic alongside the river. They had these little charcoal pits and things like that. They could light them up and have a picnic along the Detroit River. But the authorities in that area had to put a stop to it. And the reason being is a family went out there one day on a beautiful sunny day in the summer, and they set up to have a picnic with their family and friends, and they had the charcoal pit going, and they lit it, and they got everything going. But suddenly, because of the fumes and the oil materials floating down the river, it caught fire. Now, if you've never heard of a fire on a river, it's really strange. If you're picnicking next to a stream or river and the thing catches fire, well, something's awfully wrong with all the oily material. I don't know what material caught fire, but it became a raging fire, and they had to flee, call the police, or no, I'm sorry, yeah, I guess they called the police, but called 911, had the fire engine there. Now, I don't know, they had to use foam to put it out, because you can't put water out. You use water to put a fire like that out. It has to be like a chemical foam that'll just extinguish the flames. But that was, that was taken care of, but that was a pollution problem. Some companies or a group of companies or whatever were pouring toxic, flammable materials into the river as a matter of saving money and so on and so forth. But our Father in heaven is going to put a stop to that, to the pollution of his earth. Let's read Isaiah 35. If you'll turn there for me. The book of Isaiah, verse 35. Or, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's Isaiah. Yes, Isaiah 35, verse 6 to 7. Let's take a look at that. Isaiah 35. I'm going to read to you verse 6 to 7. Then will the lame leap like a deer, that is, people who were injured or crippled, and the mute tongue shout for joy. Water will gush forth from the wilderness and streams in the desert. The burning sand will become a pool, and the thirsty ground bubbling springs. In the haunts where the jackals once lay, grass and reeds and papyrus will grow. So, brethren, there's going to be fresh water everywhere, and it's going to be a wonderful thing, a beautiful thing to have fresh water. You can go out and scoop right out of a stream, I guess, or a river, and it's going to be clean. It's going to be good. So that's coming about. The wastelands are going to be transformed. The deserts are going to bloom. There's going to be rain in due season. Here's number 5. Wild animals, their nature is going to be transformed. That picture I have on the front of my podium gives a good pictorial idea as to what's going to happen when there's a little lamb next to a lion. So let's look at Isaiah 11. Let's go over to Isaiah 11. I'm going to read to you verse 6 to 9. The wolf will live with the lamb, the leopard will lie down with the goat, the calf and the lion and the yearling together, and a little child will lead them. Won't that be something? see a little boy or a little girl walking with a lion. Today, that made me terribly nervous, but it's going to happen in the future. Their whole demeanor of being wild is going to be removed, and they're going to have a calm spirit within them, the animal kingdom. The cow will feed with the bear. Their young will lie down together, and the lion will eat straw like the ox, and the infant will play near the hole of the cobra. I think everyone here knows what a cobra is. Very venomous snake. They have this thing called the king cobra, and I found out what the word king means. They inject a lot more venom into their prey. That's what it means. Not that they're any longer or bigger, but the cobras are very venomous snakes today. And it said that the young child will put his hand into the viper's nest. They will neither harm nor destroy on all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the eternal God as the waters cover the sea. So there you have, there's going to be a change in the nature of wild animals. That word wild is going to be removed, and you can have tigers as pets if you want to in that time period. I know of families and people that have tigers as pets. I found it out on the internet, and I was shocked beyond belief that in one instance, a man, his wife, 2 daughters, an infant baby, and a husband to the young woman that has a little baby, he stays away from them. He doesn't like it that they have tigers in their house. But I'll never forget, they're all sitting on this couch, brethren, and in comes this 600-pound Siberian tiger, kind of a white-skinned tiger, and he comes in, and we're all sitting on the couch, and that thing flops right down in front of them while they're on their couch. Now, I question the thought processes of the father and the leader of that house for allowing that to happen, because I think to myself, what defense does he have, the head of the house, the man who likes tigers, and he's got 7 of them, by the way. I was reading on about it and seeing it. What would he do if that thing decided to turn on them? I mean, he'd have no defense. That little baby would be gone, torn apart. And tigers are especially a dangerous animal. I unfortunately, for myself, I happened to see a videotape of a young woman who was killed by one of those things because they were in this here drive-around compound. You had to stay in your car and keep your windows rolled up. It was a 2-lane road going throughout this entire compound where you could see the animals, lions and tigers, and so her fiance pulls over to the side, and this is all caught on camera because they had cameras at certain areas or lengths along the driveways. And she gets out, runs around the back of the car, and runs up to the driver's side, and she wants to do the driving. Well, she just got to the driver's door, brethren. He went to open it, and this Siberian tiger came tearing, and I mean fast that you could count the 1, and grabbed a hold of her and dragged her off into the woods, and she was killed by that thing. And it was instantaneous. And the more I learn about these big cats, the more dangerous they seem to me, and why somebody would have them as a pet, I don't know. But in any event, that wild nature, that killer nature is going to be subdued or calmed down, I should say, and in the future, in the kingdom age rule, it's going to happen. So wild animals, they're going to be transformed. That'll be a good thing. Here's number 6. Sickness and disease will be healed. Sickness and disease. Let's look at Isaiah. Let's go over to 35. Okay, Isaiah 35. Verse 5 to 6. Then will the eyes of the blind be opened, and the ears of the deaf unstopped. Then will the lame leap like a deer, and the mute tongue shout for joy. There's one instance, brethren, where there's going to be a wonderful healing. And we have a lot of witnessing in the New Testament with Yeshua, our Messiah, in what he did. He raised people from the dead. He healed leprosy. I don't know if anyone in here has ever seen what leprosy looks like. I saw it once, and it's pretty horrible. And they had a colony out in the Hawaiian Islands. I think it was one of the islands there, Molokai, I believe it was a leper colony there for years, where they put people there and tried to take care of them. But he healed them instantly. You remember what would happen during Yahshua's ministry? He healed, I believe it was 10 lepers, and only one came back and thanked our Creator for that, thanked Yahshua for it. But in any event, all these diseases and things that we have today, I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of drugs that they're pumping out for people to take for different things that go wrong with them. So it's unbelievable, but all that's going to be gone and healed. This world's going to be healed because our Father in heaven loves humanity, and he wants things his way, and he's going to show people how to do things right and be healed. Now, number 7, mankind all over this world, brethren, will be given a new heart and spirit. It's going to happen. Their minds, their attitude, everything is going to be changed. A new heart and a new spirit. Let's look at Ezekiel 11, the book of Ezekiel. Tells us in there. Ezekiel 11 and verse 19 to 20. I'll read that. I will give them an undivided heart and put a new spirit in them, and I will remove from them their heart of stone and give them a heart of flesh. Then they will follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. They will be my people, and I will be their God. That's going to happen, brethren. It's going to be a change of heart in millions and millions of people across this globe. And I'm going to wager to say it's going to reach the point where they're going to want to have a change of heart. After what they see that world governments have done, people have done, and so on, they're going to want a change of heart. And it's going to come their way. And they will be healed in their minds and spirit. Last but not least, number 8. Yahshua will finally be ruler of this world. He's going to be Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Let's look at Isaiah 9. Isaiah 9. I'm going to read to you verse 6 to 7. For unto us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. For the increase of his government and peace there will be no end. It's not going to come to an end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice, righteousness, from that time on and forever. The zeal of the eternal God in heaven will accomplish this. What a wonderful statement that is, brethren. It's going to be on forever and ever. And remember, we were promised, and it's coming our way, 1,000 years of peace, the millennium, and it's coming. And there's not going to be anything like it in all the history of mankind. Now, what I've just discussed here, brethren, using the scriptures on these 8 points, is our own inheritance in the future. We're going to inherit this. The coming kingdom age rule is going to be here, and it's going to be our inheritance, is what we look forward to, us and millions like us who want to do what's right. But for now, what we must do is keep the faith and give our utmost, I should say, allegiance to our Creator God in heaven and keep his laws. Because he wants us to be with him. He loves us. But for now, we have to be sort of like ambassadors to set the example and to do what's right and have show people, say, hey, they'll ask us. I've been asked, so what are you doing this for? Why are you doing that? Or what's, and yet we have to have an answer for them. But we should be as ambassadors and to show people by our lifestyle and by our example. So again, brethren, keep up the faith. No matter what happens in our society, what changes are made and so on, let's keep the faith and full steam ahead, as I say a lot. Full steam ahead, just keep the faith. and stick close to our Creator, get to know Him, and read the Scriptures as often as you can. Thank you.